regular run to a grocery store took a fatal turn in Uttarakhand's Dehradun when a 24-year-old Tripura student, Angel Chakma, died after confronting a group of men hurling racial slurs at him and his younger brother Michael. Reports say that the victim was stabbed during that racist attack and he passed away in a hospital on Friday after battling for life for more than 14 days. The shocking scene unfolding when Angel Chakma landed in a violent confrontation on the 9th of December in the Selaqui area during a market visit in Dehradun. Allegedly, a group of men stopped the victim and his brother Michael and taunted and hurled racial slurs at them. In addition, the witnesses to the crime stated that the men also referred to the brothers as Chinese. Following the racial slurs, Angel at first calmly stood his ground. However, the assertion of identity and dignity was met with knives. Angel, challenging the abuse, reportedly said, and I quote, "We are not Chinese, we are Indians. What certificate should we show to prove that?" unquote. Following which the situation escalated and the men allegedly began to launch an attack on the brothers while continuing to abuse them. Following the death of the victim, Angel's body was flown to Agartala on Saturday, where the locals erupted in anger. A case had also been lodged on the 12th of December following a complaint by Michael Chakma, Angel's brother. Tripura's Chief Minister Manik Saha spoke with Uttarakhand's Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami regarding the tragic death. The Chief Minister of Tripura said that during his conversation with Pushkar Dhami, he was informed that 5 accused have already been arrested in connection with the case, and added that further investigation is underway, and the Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami has assured that justice would be delivered.
जो जस्टिस चाहिए वो जरूर करेंगे। 5 आदमी अरेस्ट हुआ है और 1-2 शायद और बचा है और उनको पकड़ने के लिए ऑलरेडी लोग भेजा भी है और मेरे ख्याल से वो पकड़ा जाएगा। मैंने कहा किसी जगह में भी कुछ गैप नहीं होना चाहिए। उन्होंने मुझे एश्योरेंस किया है कि इन लोगों को जो जस्टिस देना है वो जस्टिस दिलाएंगे और उनको अभी 5 आदमी को अरेस्ट किया है।
Meanwhile, the main accused, Yagya Awasthi, has fled to Nepal. A reward of 25,000 rupees has now been announced for his arrest. We have Professor Prosenjit Biswas, Professor of Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University, set to join us. We now have Preeti Priyadarshini, Senior Journalist, joining us from Assam. We also have Ranjan Dwivedi, former DGP, Uttar Pradesh, also with us. Thank you, both of you, for taking time out to join us. Professor Prosenjit Biswas, Professor of Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University. This is a tragedy, that is, in a sense, that it is not the first time it's happened in this country, but this particular incident continues to show the amount of racism that people from the Northeast face in different parts of India on a daily basis.
Yes, you can say that racism is something that is still very, very infectious. It is a kind of a byproduct of all other forms of discriminatory violence. Now, discriminatory violences on the lines of religion, ethnicity, language have been rampant in this country in last few months. And as a result of this, anyone who suspects anybody else can claim him or her to be a Chinese or a Bangladeshi, and that kind of a attribution results into a direct kind of hatred, and that results into a mindset of discrimination and mindset of othering. So this mindset of othering is entirely racist, as someone who looks different, someone who speaks differently, someone who is attired differently or behave differently become immediately an object of suspicion. A strong law has to be enacted now, whereby such, at the individual level, such identity mapping, identity checking, and the resultant action on the basis of some kind of suspicion and then resulting into mob lynching, etc., must be brought to an end with an iron hand. And this is not happening in this country. Therefore, it has become a lynch mob kind of situation. A lynch mob combined with a racist attitude have resulted into this unfortunate killing, murder of these 2 young men from northeastern part of
Right.
India, from Tripura, belonging to Chakma community, which itself is a very vulnerable community.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
so vulnerability is twice multiplied here.
Yeah, absolutely,
In terms
Professor.
of a mainstream racism and also violence on them. Yes.
Right, Professor Prashant, stay with us. We have Preeti Priyadarshini, senior journalist, joining us from Assam as well. Mr. Ranjan Dwivedi, I'm just coming to you in a second. Preeti Priyadarshini, this is as somebody from the Northeast. Tell us. This has been discussed. There are now laws in place to the kind of racial slurs that can actually get you jailed. Again, if you use certain racial slurs against people from the Northeast, there is that much of policy, action being taken. But on the ground, how do you ensure that a tragedy like this does not happen again? That requires two things. One is stricter policing, harsher punishment for dastardly incidents like these, and more importantly, greater awareness. Again, you need a greater awareness.
Definitely, but see what has happened, as you have very rightly stated, that we need these things if we do not want to have such kind of a heinous act again in the country, because this is not the first time that a Northeastern has been discriminated for his looks, for her looks. This has been happening again and again, and we wait until the person, he lost his life. You see, at the end of the day, we can see that people have lost their lives, and we are now having a talk, because otherwise it has become a daily thing. It is a very normal thing for now for the people outside the region to discriminate a Northeastern in terms of their looks. And they do it even while coming to a Northeast, not just there, but also here. So this is a kind of, I would want to say, a demonic pleasure that what they seek from such kind of things, where they go for the looks of the person and they try to discriminate, and at the end they even kill the person. This is definitely we have to be very conscious about this thing, that this is firstly ignorance. People are trying to show their ignorance about the region Northeast. Secondly, they are having some kind of a demonic pleasure because they know that the right kind of laws are not actually there. People are not getting punishments for this. They know that they will go for they will end up being in a prison for some time and then they come out. But what about the family? You have asked about the situation on the ground. Just think about the family who has lost this guy, who has lost the boy of the household. Why did they send him? For better education. Why did they lost him? Because of ignorance. Of whom? Of the state, of the people who are. I'm very much grateful about the people there. I know we cannot blame everyone in a region, but such kind of ignorance amongst the people have ended for such kind of an act where we have lost our boy over there. So this is not the first time this has been happening, and when usually just anyone being from Northeast visit certain places, we find such people. Not everyone, a lot of them will be welcoming, but a few of them behave in such a way that they can even take the lives of these innocent people. Yeah. So it is. This is very strange that people are still in so much of ignorance that they do not know about Northeast.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. The levels of ignorance that exist in society. Even today, even as the threshold of the year 2026, here we are. Reporting a heinous crime like this. Mr. Ranjan Dwivedi, there is, Northeastern population spread out all across the country. And I'm sure, in your tenure as the DGP of UP as well, similar cases must have come to light. Tell us, in this particular case, you have chief ministers of both states stepping in and ensuring action. That's the kind of pressure that will be needed to ensure that law enforcement takes this up seriously, isn't it?
Yeah, Krishna, first, thank you very much for inviting me on the panel. This is really disturbing. This is a very disturbing case. Because Uttarakhand is usually a very peaceful kind of place. It's a place where people are very inclusive because people from all over the country keep visiting Uttarakhand. So it happening there, and I suspect there will be something deeper, and the altercation may have started on some other issue, and then came on to this. Number one. Secondly, this is just as the lady said very rightly, this is just the tip of the iceberg. That such a thing happened, and then this comes across as a big news after that, when someone dies. But students do face discrimination all the time, and there's a lot of confusion that keeps happening. Another thing is that this is society. You try to fool and extract money from where you can. And, the more foreign the person is, foreign in the sense that not foreign country, but very more different, they feel that it's possible to fool this kind of a person. So it's extremely important to take very, very drastic steps to increase awareness, exposure, experience, and relationship between people from all parts of this country. Now, I just, the professor, with all due respect, the laws are there. The laws are there, but you know yourself that the quality of implementation of laws and the action by the courts, how delayed it is, that these laws, despite being there, become really blunt and not very effective. So that's one. It's very important that such cases are solved immediately. Very harsh action is taken, publicized. The trial is followed up very meticulously. When the sentence is given, that is again publicized so that there's an impact in society that if you do these kind of things, there'll be a huge problem. But you see, to address it in a national way, the 3-4 things I would recommend, and I'll send this a note to government also in writing, that firstly, government should have schemes for travel of students and youth across the country in very different geographies. That's one. Secondly, the textbooks should have stories with cultural description and location of different parts of the country. And a very important aspect, which just struck me when I was thinking about the whole issue, is that today you have audiovisual media. You see, after all, as an earlier speaker said, that the facial profile, if it's different, then that attracts some kind of animosity, or, well, this person is different. So if we have these textbooks with stories from across the country, with audio visual background material, and today children can download all this and see on their smartphones. Now, once that exposure is there, then naturally people would know that, well, this is our country is different. It's so diverse, and we are lucky to be there because so many cultures we can experience. It's so unfortunate that the boy who died was from Unakoti. I've been to Unakoti. People don't know that Unakoti is, it's got sculptures of a crore, theoretically, of a crore gods. And the Shiva temples there, the sculptures on the rock face, they are about 40 feet high. I mean, this kind of thing is not there anywhere in the country. Tripura is a place where Tripur Sundari temple is there. Tripur Sundari is one of the Siddhi Peeths for Devis, where the Devis' thumb fell. It's such a strong cultural affiliation with the main. And you see, then the third thing is, which is I was just thinking, that it's high time that instead of looking at reservation along caste lines, we should have reservation in every school from at least one student from a different state. Now, once that kind of a thing happens, then people will see, okay, people are all of all types there.